Good afternoon to everyone. We're glad you took the time this Saturday afternoon to join us. We're hoping we can answer your questions today. Financially can be a confusing topic, so if we don't provide enough clarity today or you think of something else later on, our office is more than happy to address any other concerns or questions you have. So feel free to reach out to us. I wanted to just touch on a few basic financial aid things to reinforce some things you might already know, and perhaps to generate some other questions you might have beyond what you're coming to the table today. So first of all, I wanted to remind you that the financial aid process begins with filing the FAFSA form, which most of you done already. It is something that you should file every year you want to be considered for financial aid. And the FAFSA is available for the next academic year beginning every October. So keep that in mind that you want to file that FAFSA every year, because our office uses that form to determine your eligibility for grant dollars, for federal work study, and for federal student loans. So most of you have already received a financial aid package from our office, and the way that we arrived at that package is we took information from the admissions process, so scholarship information, and perhaps if you went through a talent process, took information from those departments. And then if you did file the FAFSA, we analyzed those results and put together a complete financial aid package for you. There are different types of aid available. Gift aid is what we refer to as includes scholarships and grants. So these are funds you do not have to pay back. So gift aid is highly desirable for students because you don't have to pay those funds back. Most scholarships are renewable from year to year. Some scholarships have specific criteria you need to meet. And then a lot of most grants are dependent upon FAFSA results. There are a few grants out there that are not. So for instance, the visit grant, but need-based grants, we do take a look at FAFSA results every year. And if your FAFSA information stays pretty consistent, you can expect a consistent financial aid award. Other aid includes federal work study, which helps students work on campus, and the federal direct loan. And this is the student loan that's offered through the federal government. So these three areas are the main forms of financial aid. So what you can expect when you enroll, a bill will be generated each semester. That is generated about 3 to 4 weeks before the start of each semester. And that bill is due at the beginning of the semester unless you've arranged through a loan option or a monthly payment plan option. You can view your bill through the student portal, which we call Arches, and you will have that capability and will be notified once that bill is available to view. Different payment options include paying Augustana directly at the beginning of each semester. You also have the option to enroll in a monthly payment plan, so you can determine of your cost to attend. So that cost to attend after financial aid is applied to your charges, how much you would like to pay monthly. Other options include 2 loan options, which one would be a Federal Parent Plus loan, and that is a parent loan, and a parent does need to be approved to take that parent loan, or a private student loan. So that would be a loan in the student's name through a bank or a credit union, and you will need a cosigner to take a private student loan. You can combine these options. So when you sit down as a family to take a look at what your cost to attend is, you can decide to pay a portion of that at the beginning of each semester and perhaps the remaining portion through a parent loan. Or perhaps your family wants to do a certain amount monthly and then the remaining amount through a private student loan. Or you can combine all of the options. So you really need to sit down and evaluate what your circumstances are and what options best fit you. When we sent your financial aid award to you, we did include a financial aid guide, and that guide lists and goes into more detail each of these options. So I'd encourage you to take a look at that or give us a call and we can talk through that more often in more detail with you. So that's all I have in terms of a quick overview of financial aid. So I am looking forward to see what kinds of questions we have today. Or perhaps Eric needs to talk first.
Well, again, my name is Eric, and I'm one of the admissions counselors here at Augustana. And it's just, it's exciting to have your interest in us. It's exciting that we are one of your, the final schools, hopefully, that you will be choosing. So right now, it's just important for us to be able to explain to you what it is that we offer, if you haven't heard it already, and to have an understanding of what it is going to take for you to choose Augustana or choose any college. So first and foremost, I love talking about Augustana. I'm an alum of this institution. I pretty much bleed blue and gold. And I had some spectacular experiences during my time here, and I believe that all of our students currently are doing the same. Most of our students here at Augustana will study abroad. They have internships, they do research, they volunteer. We have a 98% job placement rate. Many of our students, about 40 to 45% of our students, are double majors. So if you're torn between one major or another, why not do them both? We actually have kids here that are triple majors at Augustana. So you need good time management, good study habits, but I think you can be just fine at a place like this. Most of our students will be involved in the arts. They'll be involved in athletics. So if you have talent of any kind or just interest, there's a great chance you'll be able to participate in whatever activity you're fond of here at Augustana. And we got a Quidditch team if you're a Harry Potter fan. We got a Star Wars club. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So we have all kinds of things for you to be engaged with at Augustana during your 4 years. Also, many of our students are able to participate in all kinds of social clubs here. They're able to become activists, if they will, in the sense of whatever it is that they're passionate about within society. Having 2,500 students allows our students to be able to get to know each other very well. When you have small classrooms like we do, being 18 students per, we have an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So you get a lot of opportunities to get to know each other very well and probably make the best friends of your life, but also get to know our faculty who are really interested in teaching. The majority of our faculty could have gone anywhere to have an education career, but they've chosen Augustana. We don't have grad assistants teaching courses or anything like that. So it's all faculty all the time, and I think 95% of them have achieved their PhD or their terminal degrees. So you're going to get the top of the food chain here at Augustana. I can ramble on forever about this place and how wonderful it is, but what matters most is, do we fit who you are? Do we fit what it is that you're looking for in a college? What is it that is either preventing you from having made your choice just yet? Sometimes it is financial, and Julie would be great to answer any questions that you might have. Maybe you're trying to figure out if Augie has the sort of the extracurriculars or the external experiences to provide you with a great experience at Augustana. So I would love to be able to answer any questions that you have in those regards, and Julie as well, so that we can make sure that we have told you everything that you need to know about this institution, so that you can make a great choice, whether it be us or any place else. So let's sort of turn it over to you guys and see how we can help you better understand who we are, or how we can help you just make a choice about your college or university.
Awesome. Thank you both. So one of the questions I know that I've gotten just like this week from a couple of students is about verification. So Julie, can you just talk really quickly about just what that process looks like for a student, hopefully reassuring that that is something normal for students during this process?
Yep, absolutely. So verification is a federal process. Students are randomly selected. Does not mean you did anything wrong when you filed the FAFSA at all. It just means it's a way for the federal government to ensure that the information is accurate, so that they are being good stewards of taxpayer money in what kind of aid goes to individual students. So that process involves verifying household information, so both how big the household is, how many are in college. We're required to verify income reported on the, so that involves either linking with the IRS in your FAFSA application. So if you did that, fantastic. If you want to do, we can accept a copy of your tax return. And then there's a couple of other questions on the verification form that we ask. So it is a process that you're required to go through, and no matter what school you'll go to, whether it's Augustana or somewhere else, you will have to finish that process because it is a universal process. But don't be scared of it. If you were notified that we required some additional information and wanted some clarity, you know, feel free to let us know.
Thanks, Julie. This one is for Eric. Can you talk about what our AP process, students trying to transfer certain types of credits, what that might be like as they're finishing up their senior years?
Okay. So I know that some of you have an opportunity to continue to take tests, obviously not inside your school, but perhaps at you know, an off-site or what have you. So definitely do so. You have to score a 4 or above here at Augustana in order to receive college credit within the courses that you would take for AP. And typically what happens is when you get your final transcript, you will send that to us, and then we will evaluate you know, what courses it's going to apply for. The majority of AP courses should transfer to Augustana. However, there are a few, well, one in particular I can think of right now, that if you were to take an AP English course, you would receive the credit for it, but you would still have to take our English course here at Augustana, or the equivalent of our English course at Augustana. As the design of it is that all of the freshmen coming in will be reading the same book, and you will have discussion in class regarding that. So you will receive the credit for those courses, but you still have to take our class. But everything else is pretty much cut and dry. So if you got an AP history course, more than likely that's going to transfer to Augustana, and supply us with, or supply yourself with the fulfillment of the requirement there. So AP is fairly simple here at Augustana, and I'm glad you guys are challenging yourself, because oftentimes those AP courses are sort of the equivalent of entry-level courses in colleges. So that means you're challenging yourselves, and we like that.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. So I know a student did put a question into the box, which Julie provided a really thorough response to there about the tax returns for verification. So if you have some similar kind of questions about that, definitely take a look at that response. But I want to make sure that if any of you all have any questions, that you have a chance to go ahead and ask those now. You can ask verbally, you can put it in the box. So it says, where on the website do I find to sign up for the monthly payment plan? This is Alex's mom. Awesome.
So there is some information on the website. I will have to go double check that. We use a third party, and we're transitioning to a new third party this next upcoming year. We're going to use CashNet. Typically end of May, beginning of June, the third party mails information about signing up for the monthly payment plan. But I do see your name, and so I am going to make a special note. The business office manages the monthly payment plan, and I will confirm with them that you are, oh, look at that, Bonnie is quick. I will still make a note to follow up to confirm if there are any specifics you want to find out about the monthly payment plan, but that's a great payment option to utilize.
I actually have a question, you know, for the students. Who are you torn between? When you think about Augustana and, you know, your interest in us, who are we sort of competing with? So if you can write in the chat box, who else is our competition? Who do we have to beat out in order for you to choose Augustana? I'm kind of competitive. I played basketball in college. I coach, and see, I like winning. So yeah, let me know who we're fighting against.
Awesome. Well, I know for a fact we have at least one and probably more students on here who've already committed to Augie.
Oh,
So
very good. Very good.
there might be that.
Okay.
So that's always really great.
Yeah.
And again, referring back to that link. So, we talk to a lot of students about, what is payment plan option? How do I make this feasible? How do I go about this process? So definitely use those links there in the chat box if you also have questions about those things. So we'll see if there's anything else that might come up in the box. I was trying to think if there were just any general questions that I've been getting. Anything, Eric, you can think of from students lately?
I think oftentimes kids who are interested in participating in activities, whether they be the arts, music, art, theater, dance, or sports, oftentimes they're a little worried about balance. One of the things about Augustana is we expect that you can handle not only the academic rigors of Augustana, but also the activities. Most of you, or many of you, were involved in all kinds of activities when you're in high school. Again, you're in the arts, or you're a student government or sports or what have you. You volunteer to church. It is more than likely you'll be able to continue on with that. We love kids that are busy. And in fact, kids that are busy, that have activities, they tend to be better students because you tend to be able to prioritize your days. You're great with time management. You know what's going to be happening every hour. So if you plan on participating in activities and clubs and things like that, Augustana is a place where you can be very successful. One of the things we take great pride with is the fact that we are 10th all time in the number of academic All-Americans. So we have a ton of All-Americans at Augustana, obviously athletically, but we also are 10th when it comes down to the number of students that do well on the field or court, but also do well in the classroom. And the schools that have more academic All-Americans than Augustana are schools like MIT, Nebraska, Stanford, Penn State, Notre Dame. So we're on a great list there. So if you're interested in participating in activities and being able to juggle, Augie is a great place for that because our students are so successful.
Okay, trying to unmute. So I actually just thought of a question here, just sitting and thinking. So obviously, there's a lot going on with the just current state of the world right now. That leaves a lot of uncertainty depending, concerning lots of things. As our students, have a current situation now and things may seem good. And then, as we go a couple of months and things change, from both, I guess, an admissions and a financial aid perspective, what are some resources that they can use, or what is the desired process for students if they say like, oh, financial aid, I don't know if this is gonna, look the same next year. How can students really consider what their financial aid might look like next year as a student progressing as a sophomore and continuing on compared to this freshman year?
So Christian, if I'm understanding your question correctly, a lot of times families are rightfully curious as to, I've got my financial aid for my first year, but, am I going to be able to continue to afford Augustana as I make my way through the next 3 years? So we do evaluate financial aid at the end of every academic year. Academic scholarships have renewal criteria. We look at FAFSA information. The best thing I can share with families is if your FAFSA information stays similar, so similar household size, number in college, income, then you can expect we try to keep your package on a same level. Now, if there's a swing in one direction or the other, it could have somewhat of an impact either way. If a family ever has a special circumstance where things have changed for them, that could change a student's financial aid in the future too, and we have special forms for that. So we try to be sensitive to families' changes and things like that, and try to be as consistent as possible within reason with the FAFSA. I do want to add a couple things, Christian, that I thought about, if that's okay. So I wanted to let everybody know that if you're going to be taking the federal direct student loan, There's some paperwork that you will have to complete to have that loan be processed. That loan, if you filed the FAFSA, would have been a part of your financial aid package. But there is some paperwork you need to do. We will send information to that, but if you want to get a head start, you go to studentaid.gov, so studentaid.gov, and that paperwork is completing a master promissory note and completing entrance counseling. And when those two things are done, we are able to process that loan. So we do think it's important to get that paperwork done sometime in June, because we want to make sure that's in place before the billing statement is run in July. If your parent is interested in applying for your Parent Plus loan, that is an online process now. We used to do a paper process, but this next year we've transitioned to online. Same site, studentaid.gov. There's a parent tab, and then you can apply for a Parent Plus loan through that site. Also, a lot of students are starting to get notification about outside scholarships. So if you have been awarded an outside scholarship, fantastic. Every little bit helps. We are required to include that in your financial aid award. So we do request that you notify our office as you are notified of receipt of those scholarships.
You did a good job, Julie.
Pardon?
You did a good job.
Yeah, that's actually a lot of the questions I think I get. So hopefully you all have gotten a really nice kind of quick shot into all the high level things that hopefully you're thinking about and will be helpful as you continue through your process. And if you've not decided or made a decision officially, hopefully as you consider us very seriously for Augustana. So